Alright, so nagbabalik tayo sa ating violin tips and tricks. And for today's video, I want to talk about preparations bago kayo pumunta sa inyong mga lessons, or ano ba yung dapat nating ginagawa before our lessons or on the day of our lessons. Yan. This goes out not just to the students but also to parents as well. Ano ba yung dapat nating maintindihan before going into the lessons so that we can maximize the time na nandun tayo with our teachers or mentors. Yan. So, first of all, if you are having constant lessons, you should by now understand that lessons are not there para doon kayo mag-practice, no? You shouldn't be practicing on your lesson day. Yeah. Because the lessons are there usually once a week or twice a week to be the checking of what you were doing prior to your lesson. So, if you have lessons once a week, chine-check lang ng teacher on the lesson what you did the whole week. So, it's a culmination of the things that you were doing during the time na hindi kayo nagle-lesson with your mentor or your teacher. So, what does that mean? It means, kung ano yung pinractice mo, yun malamang yung lalabas sa lessons. So, whatever you did, whatever routine you were doing, whatever scales you were practicing, those are the things that will reflect on your next lesson. So, with that being said, no, ano ba yung mga dapat, how do you prepare? Ayan, how do you prepare for the lesson day itself, no? So, personally, kapag magle-lesson ako, when I was still studying, I wouldn't practice during the lesson day. On the day itself, for example, usually nung college, I had my lessons at around 10 a.m. sa UST. So, accounting my travel time and everything else, pagdating ko doon, nilesson ako, no? But I don't practice on the day itself. A lot of people think na you can compensate whatever you missed. For example, within the week, hindi ka nakapag-practice. Tapos lesson week, day na ulit. Let's say Wednesday nga. So Wednesday ng umaga, magpo-practice ka for like 2 hours. And then thinking na once you get to your lessons, magiging okay yung lessons. Well, to tell you the truth, hindi yun mangyayari, no? Most of the time, dun lumalabas yung frustrations ng teachers nyo. Kasi, if you didn't practice the whole week and you just practice on that day, parang dinoble mo lang yung suffering na gagawin mo. Why? Because it's the time to check whatever you did. So, it won't compensate that yung hours before magpa-practice ka. No, pinahirapan mo lang yung sarili mo. Why? Because you didn't have enough time to reflect. I always think like this. Hindi ka lang nagpa-practice when you're holding your instrument. You're practicing whenever you think about your instrument, whatever you are doing, it's still part of that practice. Kasi kailangan ma-retain siya sa utak mo yung ginagawa mo. And if you do that ng hours before your lesson, then dun ka lang magpa-practice, hindi siya papasok. So what ends up happening is, pinagod mo lang yung sarili mo. So, I wouldn't recommend this, no? Especially for students as well na ginagabayan pa ng parents yung mga bata. I wouldn't recommend them practicing during the lesson day, right before their lessons. Yung iba kasi, parang, okay, nag-schedule sila ng weekend yung lessons ng bata, tapos, within the week, hindi naka-practice, tapos, hours before, sabihin, oh, mag-practice ka. That won't matter. That won't matter in the short term na, okay, malapit na yung lesson. Parang tinakot mo lang at pinagod mo lang yung sarili mo. So, I wouldn't really advise that. If you didn't practice, I would advise tell your teacher, sorry, sir or ma'am, I didn't have time to practice, but I'll try my best. Diba? Mas matatanggap nila yun versus you explaining a lot of other reasons, tapos sasabihin mo, nag-practice ka naman. Tapos, of course, teachers have expectations as well. They know their students, they know their capabilities, that's why they have expectations. Yeah. So, that's one thing. Huwag ka na mag-practice kung hindi ka nakapag-practice. Just be honest with your teacher. And I think they would understand. Diba? Another thing is that when you are on the day of the lessons, make sure you warm up before going in. No? Ano ba yung warm up? Siguro, mag-scales ka na bago ka pumasok sa lesson, or do some open string exercises so that you maximize the time na nandun ka sa lesson. So that your lessons will be more engaged and more focused. So kung alam mo na ang lelesonin nyo ay yung pyesa lang, edi mag-practice ka muna ng scales right before. So, hindi full practice. Just to warm yourself up. Para pagdating mo doon, tutugtugin mo na lang kung ano yung dapat na ile-lesson nyo on that day. Diba? Kasi if doon ka palang magsiset up, doon ka palang mag-warm up, may hirapan, matagal yung transition. Siyempre, parang kotse, pinapainit muna, di ba? So, kung mainit ka na nandun, dire-diretso na yun kung ano man yung ile-lesson nyo, di ba? So, it's not just about doing open strings. You have to warm your body up in other ways as well. For example, do you walk? Maglalakad ka papunta dun sa lesson venue. Or, if sa bahay, if online, you stretch before going into the session or the lesson meeting room, di ba? So you can do a lot of things just to warm yourself up, not just your body but also your mind. You have to condition your mind na ready ka doon. And just give 100% of your attention and focus on whatever the teacher is trying to tell you or trying to make you do, no? And another thing, hindi na to prep, but during the lesson, you have to take notes, no? Para ma-maximize mo. And with technology, di ba, I know Zoom, you can record your lessons in Zoom. So, i-record mo yung lessons so that you can check whatever. Baka mamaya may na-miss ka, hindi mo na isulat, or may nasabi siyang magandang points that you can work on. And then, you can use that to plan what you will do the whole week. And then, pagdating mo ulit ng next lesson mo, mas madali mo na may papakita. Diba? So, you have to understand this for students that your lessons or your teachers will not spoon-feed you if you want to really get good at it. You have to practice on your own. And the time given, kaya nga hindi advisable to have lessons like every day kasi you have to be able to digest and absorb all that information and knowledge that is passed on to you. Kung hindi mo yun ma-absorb, mag-lesson ka lang araw-araw, hindi ka rin gagaling kasi hindi siya may ingrain sa'yo, hindi papasok sa sistema mo. Usually, during summertime, students have lessons like 3 times a week, twice a week. Perfectly fine kasi wala rin naman masyadong ginagawa, no? Pero everyday, mahirap yun. Dapat laging may gaps in between so that you can really prepare yourself and makakapahinga ka. Remember that practice doesn't start in the studio or doesn't start when you pick up your instrument. It starts when you start thinking about it and it gets into your system. Diba? Yun naman talaga yung reason why you practice. To get the things into your system para pag tumugtog ka, hindi mo na siya masyadong iisipin. Yeah. So, other preparations you can do is to actually take note. Yun nga, bago ka pumasok doon, alamin mo na kung ano yung assignment mo and give it to your teacher the progress that you actually had. No, maganda may practice journal ka din or practice log and show it to your teacher or tell your teacher, ganito po yung nangyari sa akin within the week. Ano yung natutunan mo? Ano yung mga na-discover mo? No? Because it's part of learning. If you want to learn fast, you have to explore. Yan. Kung gusto mo matuto ng mas mabilis, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable with your instrument. No? Kailangan maintindihan mo yung ins and outs niya. Na, kasi the knowledge of your teacher cannot be directly translated into your skills. You have to give it time. Kasi magkaiba tayo ng isip. You can connect with them, but the most important thing is transferring the knowledge from your mind into your body. Diba? You always use your head, but at the end of the day, if your head can transfer that to your body, wala rin. So, kailangan nagpo-practice ka talaga. And, yeah, you don't have to be close in na ang practice lang tuwing hawak mo yung instrument. You can do a lot of things that can speed up your learning experience in music, no? Not just holding your instruments. By looking, observing, marami kang matututunan. And of course, use your teacher's advice and work on it, no? In a weekly basis or kung ilang beses kayo nagle-lesson, really put time to managing yourself in that whole week na, okay, within the week, dapat ma-accomplish mo at least let's say half of what your teacher wants you to do. Para sulit yung pag-aaral natin ng instrument, diba? Because again, lessons, usually kaya sumasama yung lesson kasi hindi nagpa-practice ng tama yung student. Hindi nagpa-practice ng ayos, diba? Minsan, naisip natin, pag hindi ako nag-practice, parang mas maganda pa yung lesson ko eh. Bakit nga ba ganun yung nangyayari? It's because hindi ka nag-iisip masyado. You're a little bit more confident in what you're doing kasi hindi ka nagiging conscious na baka pagalitan ka or natatakot ka, 'di ba? Minsan pinangungunahan kasi tayo ng fear, and so that you don't have that fear, you have to come into your lesson prepared. Yun lang yung sikreto, no? Wala na ibang secret doon. Hindi, pumasok ka nang nag-practice ka, naaral mo ng tama, you made sure that every point your teacher gave you is well taken care of, no? Dumating ka doon ng maayos. And of course, ito pa pala, before I forget, make sure that your instrument is tuned and your bow has rosin, no? Yung mga ganong klaseng minute details. Hindi yung pagdating mo, totono mo ulit, tapos magro-rosin ka, nahawakan mo na nga kanina, diba? So, especially in this setting na online, diba? At least come into your lessons. If you don't know how to tune yun, siguro acceptable. But if you already know how to tune your instrument, tune it na bago ka pumasok para hindi masayang yung oras. Diba? Minsan, oras yung kalaban natin eh. And using your time wisely would help in the long run. And sana may natutunan kayo dito. If you did learn something like this video, share this video, comment down below for more topics that we should discuss. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content. Follow me on all my socials, links down in the description box below. My course is on Udemy, is also still available. Check nyo lang din sa baba. And this has been Violin Tips and Tricks, and I'll see you on the next one.